Since I started using this template, my productivity 10x'd overnight. I went from being frustrated, procrastinating, and not achieving my goals to exceeding them and feeling like I'm on top of everything. And honestly, it's changed my life. Welcome to My Second Brain, an all-in-one productivity system that allows you to effortlessly manage tasks, notes, ideas, projects, and goals all in one place. No more swapping between 7 different apps. But wait, you've probably heard the term second brain before, and you may now be wondering, what makes this one different? Well, one thing I noticed is that most second brains are overly complicated. You have to spend 6 hours watching tutorials to figure out how to use it, and you then end up wasting a lot of time filling out a ton of useless details about each task and note. My second brain is designed to be intuitive and easy to use, and it has a ton of automated features that will save your valuable time so you can spend less time thinking and more time doing. It also incorporates tons of built-in advanced Notion features that will boost your productivity and help you organize your life like never before. If you're interested in grabbing my exact template, then it is available over on my store. I'll leave a link in the description box below. This second brain did take me over 100 hours to put together, so if you fancy saving yourself 100 hours and becoming 10 times more productive today, then consider purchasing my template. I've tried to keep costs as low as possible, and it's much more reasonably priced compared to other second brain templates that I've seen here on YouTube. Next, I'll give you a full tour of the template, but I'm not just going to be showing you how my second brain is set up. I'll also be sharing the thought process and strategies behind it so you can build one for yourself. Okay, so here we are on the homepage of the second brain. So the homepage has essentially just an overview of everything within the system. It's kind of like a master dashboard. So it will make a lot more sense after I've shown you all of the individual pages within the template. But just for now, I'll show you that it has the main task list. It has an overview of all of your projects and goals. And it also has an overview of all of your life zones and reference areas. Now I'm going to explain later in the video exactly what life zones and references are and the difference between them. But for now, let's just have a look through the different items on the menu. So this is the main menu that you'll find on every single page within the template. I've added it on every page just so that navigation of the template is super easy. So whatever page you're on, you can easily navigate to any other page within the template. And we also have this quick capture box as well, which is designed to make capturing new tasks, notes, projects, or goals super quick and easy. So you can simply just click on one of these buttons. So for example, if I want to add a new task into the system, I can simply type it in here. So let's say that I want to wash my car. I can add in the task, and this system is designed to help you to capture tasks as quickly as possible, so you don't need to add any other details right now. You can simply add the name of the task and close off the page. And you can do the same with the other buttons as well. So let's first head over to the task manager. So this is the task manager page. Now this system is actually inspired by David Allen's popular Getting Things Done method, which is a productivity methodology which, as you can imagine by the name, helps you to actually get tasks done. So I've used his method to design my task manager, which is essentially designed to help you spend less time thinking and more time doing. So after you've added new tasks into the system using the quick capture box, they will appear here in your task inbox. So if I just open that using the toggle, you'll find this table, which is the actual task inbox. So here is that task that I've just added, wash car. Now you can use the task inbox to add some more details to each task. So we're mainly going to be adding a due date, a priority level, and you can also connect it to a project if you need to. So let's sort this wash car one as an example together. So I'm going to start by adding a due date. So I'm just going to click on here and choose the due date for this task. Let's put it as tomorrow. Next, I can select the priority level. So if I click on here, we've got 3 different options, either low, medium, or high. So for this one, let's put it as medium. And finally, I can connect it to a project. So if you click on this box, it will bring up all of the projects that we have in the system. So this is based on the projects page, which I'm going to show you next. So if this task is related to a project, you can select it here. Otherwise, you can leave this blank. So this one, wash car, isn't related to a particular project. So I'm actually just going to leave that one blank. Now, once you've added all the details, you can remove this task from your inbox by changing the status. So the status will automatically come up as inbox when you add a new task. So if I click on here, I can now change it to processed to indicate that I've processed the task. And once I've done that, it will disappear from the list and it's now been sorted into the My Tasks area. Now, there are a few other options on here. So if you end up just completing the task straight away, you can change it to done. If you've delegated the task to another team member, then you can select delegated. And if you just end up deciding the task wasn't worth it in the first place, you can send it to the trash. And selecting any of these options will simply just remove the task from the system. So once you've sorted your tasks, you can again close the toggle here. And then just below the task inbox, we have the My Tasks area, which is where all of your tasks will be automatically sorted for you, saving you time. And you'll see this clear, clutter-free daily to-do list that has been automatically created for you. So as you can see, it will display all of the tasks that have a due date of today, and it's sorted based on the priority level, with obviously the most important task being at the top of the list. You can simply check off the tasks once they're complete and they'll disappear from the list. And you can also see here if the task is connected to a particular project, so it's really easy to see which tasks you have and which projects they're related to. You can also easily see all of your upcoming tasks, so I have a tomorrow toggle here which will show all of your tasks with a due date of tomorrow, and again they're sorted based on their priority level. And we also have the upcoming tab as well, which will show all of your upcoming tasks and they're sorted based on the due date. And we also have this overdue tab as well, which will bring up all of your overdue tasks, so essentially the due date has now passed, and it also has this automatic overdue alert system as well. This tab is really useful because it'll show you what you need to work on. You can easily click on here and change the due date if you need to, and again you can just check off the tasks once they're complete and they will disappear. We also have the No Deadline tab, which shows any tasks within the system that do not have a deadline set. Now the reason that I've added this is because, as I mentioned previously, this task manager is inspired by David Allen's Getting Things Done method, and one of the things that he talks about in the book is the importance of having a someday or maybe list. So this is essentially a list of tasks that you want to get around to at some point, but you're not going to do right away, but you don't want to forget about them or lose them. So you'd put them on a someday or a maybe list, and every now and again you can review the list and see if those items can now be added into your main to-do list. So that is essentially what this No Deadline tab is. You can just add in tasks that you don't want to forget about but you're not going to do right away, and every now and again you can come on here and add them into your main task list if you need to. I've also got this completed tasks page as well, so if you accidentally check off a task by mistake, or if you just want to look at the task that you've complete, you can head over to the completed tasks page, and on this page it has an overview of all of the tasks that you've completed, when you completed them, and any projects that they're related to. So if you did accidentally check off a task, you could just uncheck it here and it'll go back into the main task list. Okay, back on the task manager page, just below the My Tasks area, I've also got a calendar view. I know a lot of people like seeing tasks on a calendar, so I've added the calendar to help you visualize your month. Okay, so that is essentially how the task manager works. Let's head over to the projects page. So here we are on the projects page. So if I just scroll down, remember that you can add new projects using this new project button in the sidebar. So if I click on that, it would open up a new page and I can simply just write in the name of the project here and fill out the details. One of the key things I love about the projects page is that each project that you add into the system has its own dedicated project hub. So if I just click on one of these as an example, let's go with this Complete Duolingo Spanish course. So this is our dedicated project hub. So this is a project I have. Here are all the key details about the project. So you can set a deadline, you can see the status of the project, you can associate it with a specific life zone or reference area, which I'm going to talk about later in the video. You can connect the project with a specific goal that you've added. You can also check it as a priority project. If you find the project is no longer relevant, you can archive it. And these three properties here are automatic, so they're actually formulas that I've added into the system. This one will automatically count down to the deadline, so you don't have to amend this or anything. It will automatically tell you how many days you have left until the deadline, and if the deadline has passed, it will tell you how many days overdue it is. So let me just change the deadline to a past date. So as you can see, it's now telling you how many days overdue the project is. We have this progress bar here, which will show you how far along you are towards completing the project, and I've also got a task status here, which will tell you how many tasks you have left to complete and then how many of those tasks are overdue. So if I just scroll down here, we have a related goals section. So this will give you an overview of any goals that you have that are related to this project. So here is a goal that I have. It's actually an overdue goal, but this is the progress bar showing me how far along I am towards completing it. So it's pretty handy to be able to see. You can write a project overview here if you like, and this area will display all of the tasks that you have to complete, and it will tell you here if any of them are overdue. So you can just check them off here once they're complete and they'll disappear from the list. And this area will show any notes that are connected to this goal. So I haven't added any notes for this goal. But if I did, they would display here. So let me just add one as an example quickly. Okay, so I've just quickly added this note on Spanish verb conjugations and connected it to this project. So as you can see, it's now displaying here. So I could have a long list of notes here that are connected to this project. So the project hub is super handy as it will collate all of the tasks and notes that you have specific to this project, and it helps you focus on what's really important. If I just go back to the main projects page. So the first thing we have here on the projects page is the priority project section. So as I showed you on that example, you can check a checkbox to make a project project priority, and they will display here under your priority projects, so you can easily just see which projects here are the most important ones that I want to work on right now. And these little cards will give you an overview of the project, so it will show the progress, the task status, the deadline, and the countdown to the deadline as well. And these are also grouped based on the area of your life that they fall into. Now the All Projects tab shows all of the projects that you have within the system. So we have the In Progress tab, which shows all of the projects that are currently in progress, and they're also grouped based on the area of your life that they fall into. We have the Not Started tab for any projects that you've not started yet, and the Completed tab for any that you've completed. This one's currently empty. Down below, I also have a clever project management system that allows you to keep track of your project progress. So this will display all of the projects that you have within the system, and then all of the key details here. So you can easily amend the details, you can easily pick out your priority projects, you can amend the deadline and the status here as well. Now to make managing projects even easier, I've also added a tasks tab here. Now each project within the system that has tasks associated with it will come up here as a toggle. So I can simply open the toggle and view all of the tasks that I have to complete, and it will also show me the due date and their priority level, and I can check them off here once they're complete and they will disappear. An overdue alert will also appear here if they are overdue, like this one, so it will tell me if the task is overdue. Now if you remember from the task manager page, it is super easy to associate tasks with projects. It's literally just a single click and then they will appear here in the project manager. Next, let's take a look at the goals page. So again, you can add goals with a single click using the quick capture box in the sidebar, and then any goals that you add into the system will appear here in your all goals section. Now similar to the projects page, each goal has a dedicated project hub where you can add due dates and milestones. So let's have a look at this Invest $10,000 as an example. So here is the individual goal hub for the Invest $10,000 goal. So you can input a deadline for the goal, you can associate a particular life zone or reference area. So for this one, I've added it to my finance life zone. You can check this box once the goal is complete. You can archive it if it's no longer relevant. And again, these are two clever automatic things that I've added into the system. So we have a countdown towards your deadline. And again, if the deadline becomes passed, it will then tell you how many days overdue the goal is, and there's a progress bar as well showing you how far along you are in achieving that goal. Now you can use this goal hub to check off milestones when you achieve them and also assign projects. So if I just scroll down, you can write an overview of your goal here if you like. And then here we have the milestone section. So what I would recommend doing for every single goal that you create is associating milestones. So these are just simply things you can check off as you go to show that you are getting closer towards that goal. So they're kind of checkpoints along the way. So here are some milestones that I've added for this goal. So I can simply just check them off as I complete them. And this then feeds into the progress bar that we had up here. So if I just check a couple more off, as you can see, it's now gone to 100%. So that's how the system works. Down here as well, we have associated projects. So I don't have any associated with this one because it's not really something that you'd associate a project with. But if you have associated projects, let me just go back and find another example. So another goal that I have is to get to B2 in Spanish. So let's have a look at that one. So on this example, as you can see, I've inputted my goal overview. I've added in some key milestones that I can check off as I go to show that I am getting closer to that goal. And we also have an associated project as well. So one of the projects I'm working on is completing the Duolingo Spanish course. So here I can see my progress towards completing this project, how many tasks I have left, and also the deadline for this individual goal as well. So in the all goals section, you'll see an overview of all of the current goals that you have, and they're grouped together again based on the area of your life that they fall into. And we also have the completed tab as well for any that you've completed. So this one's currently empty. And if I just scroll down, we also have the goal manager, which again works similar to the projects page, but this one just brings up all of the goals that you have within the system, and you can easily see the progress and amend any of the details. So if you wanted to amend the deadline or the zone or reference area, you can easily do that here, and you can check them off like this once they're complete. I've also added a milestones tab to make it super easy to view and check off milestones. So each goal within the system will come up as a toggle. So you can simply just open the toggle, view the milestones, and check them off once they're complete, and they'll disappear from the list. And that will then feed into the progress bar that you see on the card. So this was the one I just checked off. So that's increased the progress bar on here. Now I spent a lot of time putting this system together, and it's designed to help you stay on track and actually achieve your goals. Next, let's take a look at the notes page. So the virtual notebook is designed to allow you to capture new notes, articles, and ideas with a single click. Now I've spent hours and hours designing this system to save you time. So new notes that you add using the quick capture button will be intelligently sent over to the note inbox where you can process them later. So as you can see here in my note inbox, here is a note that I saved earlier with some useful video video editing tips. So this was actually an article that I found on the internet and I wanted to save. So I used the capture button in the sidebar and I simply just saved the URL here of the article that I found useful. And that's now been sent to my note inbox. So we can now sort this note, and it features a clever sorting system that means you'll never lose a note again. So first we're going to select the life zone or reference area that this note falls into. So I am going to talk a little bit more in a second about the difference between life zones and reference areas and what this all means. But essentially these are just the different areas of your life, so you can decide which area this note falls into. So let's have a look. So as YouTube is a big area of my life because I have a YouTube channel, I do have a life zone of YouTube. So that's the one I'm going to select. So essentially I can head over to my YouTube life zone page whenever I want to see all of the notes and articles that I've saved related to YouTube. So it's a really handy system to be able to organize your life, and it's based heavily on the Para method by Tiago Forte. You can also connect notes to a project. So if this is related to a specific project that you've created, you can add that here. You can leave this box blank if it's just a random note and it's not related to a project. So in this case, I do have a project for Learn Advanced Video Editing, so that's the one I'm going to select. You can then select a type for the note, so this will display in certain parts of the template. So this one is actually an article that I found, so that's what I'm going to select. You can add the URL in here if it's an article you found online, or you can leave this blank if it's just a note that you're typing out yourself. And you can also check certain notes as fleeting if it makes sense. So I have added some automatic archiving features to keep your notebook and your Second Brain template clutter free. So that's what this fleeting notes is here. So let me just open up this toggle. Now, fleeting notes are automatically archived after 1 month of zero activity. And as I said, this is designed to keep your workspace clutter free. You don't want loads of random useless notes appearing over and over again in your notebook section when they're just not relevant, and it will take you extra time deleting them or archiving them yourself. So that's why I've created this automatic archiving system that will save your valuable time. So essentially, anytime that you create a note that is something that is useful to you right now but won't be useful to you further down the line, you can check the checkbox in the note inbox for fleeting and it will be added to your fleeting notes. And as I said, this will automatically be archived after 1 month of zero activity. So this works super well for things like grocery lists. So that's something that is very important to me today because I'm going grocery shopping, so I want to reference my list. But as soon as I'm done with it, I don't want to see it again, and it would be a waste of my time to consistently keep going in here and archiving grocery lists when they could just auto archive themselves. So it's a handy system that I've set up to save you time. So once you've filled in all the details about the note, you can change the status here from inbox to processed, and it will be removed from your inbox and it will now feature elsewhere in the template. So you can favorite notes that you find most useful. So if there are certain notes that you want to reference over and over again, you may want to favorite them. So if I just open up this note on places to visit in France, you will find a checkbox here for favorite. So if you check that checkbox, it will now appear in your favorite section. So it's just a handy way to be able to easily find all of the notes that you want to access most often. And further below, we have the recent notes and recent web clip section. So this is where you're going to find all of the notes that you've added into the system, and they're split up based on if they're a note or a web clip. So essentially a web clip has a URL associated with it. So these are all the articles that you found online that you've saved, whereas the notes are just notes that you've written yourself. There is no URL associated with it. It's not an article online. It's just a note that you've written yourself. You'll also find that I have some recipe notes here and some book notes. So they are actually related to this recipe tracker and book tracker. So I'm going to show you that in detail later in the video, but essentially they're just a specific type of note. So we have a recipe and it's just got a special icon here, or a book note which has a special icon as well. So in the recents area, all of the notes are sorted based on the last edited time. So it's really easy to find the notes that you've accessed most recently. And you'll also see a little overview of the note here. So the zone or reference area that note falls into and what type of note it is as well. And we also have similar details over on the web clip section as well. So you can actually click onto the URL directly from this page, which I think is really handy as well. Now, I did spend a lot of time putting this virtual notebook together, and it is inspired by all of your favorite note-taking apps, and it combines them together into one powerful space. Let's take a look now at the life zones and references page. So we'll start with the life zones. So as I mentioned, life zones and references are inspired by Tiago Forte's well-known Para method, and they allow you to effectively sort your notes into different areas of your life. So if you're familiar with Para, then life zones are essentially areas and references are essentially resources. Life zones are large areas of your life, and they are continuous activities that you do over time. They're things like work, home, family, and any really major projects that you have, like music or fitness, whereas references are just topics or areas of interests. You wouldn't necessarily have a goal related to these areas. So on the life zones page, you'll see an overview of all of the life zones that you've added into the system. You can easily add new ones as well. And if you click on any of these boxes, it will take you to a dedicated page where you can see all of the projects, goals, and notes related to this life zone. So let's have a look at the Spanish one as an example. So here is my Spanish hub. So as I said, I am learning Spanish at the moment, so it does make up a big portion of my life. So firstly, we have the projects and goals. So in this section, you will see all of the projects that you have related to this area of your life, and it will just bring up a few key details about the project here. I also have a goals tab, which will bring up any goals that you currently have for this life zone as well. And just below, we have all of your notes and web clips that are related to this life zone. So any that you've labeled as favorite will come up under the favorites toggle here, and all of your other notes will display here. So any notes that do not have a URL associated with them will show up in this notes section, and any that do have a URL associated with them will come up in this web clips section. And as you can see, the articles are also grouped based on the website that they come from, so you can open and close these toggles as you like. Let me just head back to the life zones page. So this is all connected up to the notes page that I showed you a second ago. So essentially what this is a powerful organization system that has created a hyper useful dashboard for each area of your life. And I also have on this page an overview of all of your projects and goals for all of the different life zones. So these are all grouped together based on the life zone. So you can just see the overview of the projects, and there's also a tab here for goals as well, which shows the same thing. Further below, I've also included the notes and web clips, and these are grouped together using toggles, again, based on the area of your life that they fall into. So again, it's a super easy place just to view all of the notes and web clips that you have for each different life zone. Now, the references page is very similar to the life zones page. It's just for the reference areas. So remember, these are just topics of interest. They're not particularly large areas of your life. They're just things that you find useful. So you can click on any of the reference areas that you've added. Let's go with travel. And that will take me to the dedicated travel hub, which will show all of the notes and web clips that I've saved directly related to this area. So I've just got a couple of articles here that I found useful related to travel. I've also added a few fun extras into the template. So let's start with the recipe tracker. So you can save all of your favorite recipes into the recipe tracker, and the recipes are automatically sorted based on the meal type. So when you add a new recipe, you can select what type of recipe it is, and then you can click through these different areas to view the different types of recipes. They're automatically sorted for you, which is really handy. I've also got a built-in recipe template that means adding new recipes is super easy and really quick. So you can use this toggle here to add a new recipe, and you can simply fill out all of the recipe details here on the pre-made recipe template. Now, using Notion's database magic, recipes will also appear on your notes page, and they can actually be assigned to life zones, reference areas, or projects as well, which is really cool. I also have a book tracker which uses a very similar system. So the book tracker is where you can keep track of all the books that you want to read, are currently reading, or have read. So here is the My Library section, and you can easily then filter between the books that you're currently reading and the ones that you've finished reading. So on the current tab, you can easily see when you started reading each book, and then on the completed tab, you can see when you finish the book, and you can also give it a star rating out of 5 as well, which is really fun. It's super quick and easy to add a new book, and you can also add book notes using the pre-made template. So let me just add a quick book to show you. If I just open this up. So this is the built-in book notes template. So you can simply add a summary of the book, note down any key takeaways or key things that you're learning from the book, and you can also say whether you would recommend it and who you would recommend it to as well. As well as this virtual bookshelf section, I also have a book details section down here, so you can easily amend all of the different details here, fill in the completed date, and give the book a rating out of 5 as well. So it's really quick and easy to do it. You don't necessarily have to go onto the individual book page to update details. And similar to the recipe tracker, any books that you add into the system using the book tracker will also show up on your notes page, and you can associate books with projects, life zones, and reference areas. So if you connect a book with a particular project, so here I have a book on building a second brain, I've connected it with my Create a Second Brain template project. If I then go onto that project, so here is the project hub for the Create a Second Brain template. If I just scroll down under notes, and here we can see the Building a Second Brain book is displayed under the notes section on this project. So it's really easy to connect books with projects or life zones or reference areas. Now, the final page I want to show you is the journal. So the journal is a complete standalone area of the template. It is not connected up with the notes database. That's just because I wanted you to have a specific area of the template where you can write journal entries and they won't show up elsewhere in the template. Now, it does come with 8 pre-made journaling templates to help you journal every single day, including a daily reflection, a today's plan of action, weekly and monthly reflections, and so much more. Let me just show you one as an example. Let's just have a look at the weekly reflection. So this is the weekly reflection template. So it comes with a list of questions or prompts to help you get into the writing groove. I then have a really clear and clutter-free view that will show all of your entries for this month. You can use the All Entries tab to see all of the entries, and I've also got a by type tab as well, which will group all of the different entries by the different type as well. So it's really easy to see and view all of your previous journal entries. So that is everything that we have in the Second Brain template. We also do have an archive page, which is hidden away right at the bottom. So if you ever do need to access it, you'll find it right here. So I've also added this smart archiving system so you can easily clear out the clutter. It's designed so that your workspace doesn't become cluttered with things that are no longer relevant. If something becomes irrelevant, you just simply want to check the archive box and it will then be added into the archive page. So items that are sent to the archive will be out of your way, but they do live safely in the archive if you ever need them again. So you can open up the toggles to view all of the items that you have here. And remember that we do have some automatic archiving features as well, like the fleeting notes that will save you time. And that's it. If you're interested in downloading the exact template that I've shown in this video, then check out the link in the description box. You'll be able to start using my exact system straight away and save yourself 100 hours putting this together. And if you did find this video useful, then I'd really appreciate if you could give the video a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel, as I post new Notion tutorials like this one twice a week.